Welcome to Gonti Black Friday. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, we've got 3 lands in the hand. I think it's pretty good. We have a tutor, a little bit of a card draw, and Dead Man's Chest. I will think, no, we're going to keep on. Hey, man. Hey. Best of luck. Good. How about you? And then we were playing against Queen Marchesa, so we'll actually get Gonti pop back up here in a second. There we go. Oh, sweet. Sweet. Hopefully it's a good one. We can have a good matchup between Queen Marchesa and Gonti. That should be a good matchup. Let's go and get the chat closed out. Let's go and get the swamp down, and then anything else. We're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing Gonti, Lord of Luxury. It is official Black Friday day. It's been a little bit while since we've done Black Friday. I've been getting out some new releases on Fridays, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do today, and then I was sitting there. I was like, hey, let's go for Gonti. We haven't done Gonti in a minute, and so here we are. Let's go ahead and get down the second land drop. I'm just going to go for Argyl's Bloodfast. Yeah, I like that. And it's going to be 1-2. Get that down, and then we're going to go and pass the turn and then see what our opponent said. Oh, man. Our opponent's been up. Oh, no, stay up. Yeah, that's... yeah, we'll go and pass turn and we'll cover our commanders, and I'll talk about my sleep habits. We're playing Gonti, Lord of Luxury, Death Touch. Whenever Gonti enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponents in the library, exile one of those face down, then put the rest on the bottom. Then we may spend our manas or any color to cast that spell. Playing against Marchesa, the Black Rose, Grixis Marchesa. And anything for 3. No, we did draw into Sidisi, which is pretty nice. Let's go and get the land down. Yeah, I guess we'll just use that Argyl's Bloodfast. Playing against Marchesa, the Black Rose, Dethrone. Other creatures you control have Dethrone, and then whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter and it dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. And I'm going to try my best to remember that +1 ability counter, because I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten that +1 ability really does matter. Ooh, look at that. I need to pick that up. I love that art on that one. Let's go and go for Argyl's Bloodfast. Just make the most out of our mana. Nothing for 3. We're going to go and draw a card. We are online for Gonti next turn. So, ooh, drawing the Grave Titan. That should be pretty good. Okay, get that Coalition Relic down. I will now. Our opponent's going to stay awake. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, I need to talk about my sleep habits. But yeah, I'm not one of those. I'm one of those early morning people. I can't stay up late, man. I am just. It's not like I'm trying to think how to describe it. Let's go and get the swamp down, and then we'll jump into sleep talk here in just a second. Let's go and go for Gonti's. Get those that 5-finger discount going. See what we can't steal from Queen Marchesa. I know I've lost to Queen Marchesa enough, or Miss Marchesa over here. I've lost to her enough to where I don't really feel bad about stealing from her. So we're gonna go ahead and go for that. Ooh, Dax Duplicate. Love Dax Duplicate. Yeah, let's go and do that. I think I like Dax Duplicate. Worst case scenario, we can have it enter the battlefield as another copy of Gonti. If not, we can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of Queen Marchesa and get that dethrone going and kind of going from there. But yes, we cover both commanders free time. We can talk about it if we want. That's going to be sleep habits. But yes, I'm a early morning person. I get up pretty early. Typically, it kind of depends on what my recording schedule is, how much stuff I got done on the weekend. But I have a normal 9 to 5 job, and then I usually typically get up about 5:30 in the morning and either record or do deck techs or work on channel stuff for about an hour and a half, and then I go to work and I get ready for work, and then. At night, man, there'd be some nights where I could be in bed at like 9 o'clock if I wanted to. But I typically, depending on how tired I am, but I usually stay awake till about 11 o'clock. Then I usually go to bed just because getting up at 5:30 is a little bit tiring sometimes. But I've always been like that. Ever since a little kid, I've always been like as soon as 10 o'clock hits, I get real sleepy. And like especially in college, I used to kind of do, all right, so we got Marchesa swinging down. You know how you'd have like a bunch of tests the next day and you do an all-nighter. I don't perform well, like staying up all night. And so what I would do is I would go to sleep, Syndicate Trafficker, okay, sack an artifact, put a +1 counter, okay, that's fine. Love the art on that, looks great. But yeah, what I would do is I would go to sleep, probably around 10, and depending on how early I needed to get up, I would basically just get up at either 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd basically just sleep for about 4 hours, and then I would get up instead of pulling an all-nighter because it would just be an uphill battle for me the entire night. So, the more you know, the little GIF to pop up. All right, so we have Dax Duplicate. Do we want to go for Queen Marchesa? Other creatures you control have Dethrone. An opponent does have the most life total. We can't go for Swiftfoot Boots, put it on to Gonti and be okay. Unfortunately, we don't really have any sort of removal at this point right now, and Dax Duplicate on that Syndicate Trafficker. Let's do this. I'd like to kind of get down. let's get down the Swiftfoot boots, or do we want to go for Erebos God of the Dead? It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if we can get down that, that'll be Devotion. Well, pretty close to Devotion off Erebos, and that'll kind of allow us to get in some pretty good chump blockers. Let's go and do that. Let's go and get down Erebos. And we'll see exactly what we want to go for with Dax Duplicate. We can go for either the Syndicate Trafficker or Queen Marchesa next turn, and that's going to allow us to get down Dax Duplicate, and that'll turn on that Devotion, where we don't really have to worry about that dethrone coming across. So I think I kind of like that. And then I don't think we really want to swing. We'll just go and pass it under our opponent, kick it back over there. But yeah, so if they want to swing in, at least we have a Death Touch. We have Erebos out there, and then we actually have two sources of card draw, paying 2 life and draw 2 cards, so we can figure out exactly which one we want to use. But outside of that, we've got Dead Man's Chest in the hand, so if we can kind of pair this up with some sort of removal spell, that would definitely be great. And if we do hit the land drop, we might get into spots where we go Grave Titan, and that way we can use Sidisi to kind of exploit one of those zombie creatures, and we can kind of tutor up what we want. We hadn't played Gonti in a while, and in fact, there really hadn't been that many changes to the deck. The only thing I did take out was I had Ghastly Conscriptions in here, which was like a 7-mana exile all creature cards from opponent's graveyard and manifest those creatures. And I had it in there because I thought it would be a really neat card, like graveyard removal. But that card was just such a dead card in our hand for so many Gonti games. And I was just about to record, and I was like, man, let's take a check real quick, because I've got like 40 commander decks, so it's really hard to kind of remember like things like that unless I do it after the game where I recorded. And so I get in there and I'm like, yeah, I think it's good. And then I see that Ghastly Conscriptions. I was like, no, get out of here, buddy. We're getting rid of you. I'm tired of having you be a dead card in the hand. So I had to Beseech the Queen, which is another tutor for the deck, and the Gonti definitely wants another tutor. Okay, our opponent's going to get down Arcbound Crusher. And I love that. I love Juggernauts. I built a Juggernaut deck when I first got into Magic, and it was one of my favorite decks to play. It's not the best, but you can get it going. It's pretty fun. All right, so we do draw into Obnixilis. Unfortunately, we do not hit the land drop, so we can completely tap out for Obnixilis and then go for that. That's going to kind of put our opponent in a position where they're pretty much just going to go ahead and start swinging in. We can Dark Petition, add that 3 mana to our mana pool. We can Dark Petition for like Ancient Tomb. That's going to be, we don't have Spell Mastery anywhere near online at this point, so we definitely don't want to go for that. And then Dax Duplicate, I almost kind of want to get into spots where we can Dax Duplicate on Grave Titan or something like that. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and go for CDC. I like that. We're going to go for CDC, get her down, and then we can exploit her. It's going to turn on Devotion for Erebos, but just for a second. Or technically, I guess if we wanted to, we could exploit Erebos. Because it's going to be a little hard for us to get Devotion after that, and we already have the Bloodfast out there. But yeah, I don't think we really need to worry about them gaining any sort of life. We're going to go for Erebos on this one. That way, at least we have another blocker to kind of keep them from swinging in with that dethrone. All right, yes, we're going to use that ability. And I probably wouldn't have gone for that play unless we had Argyl's Bloodfast. So let's go and grab that Ancient Tomb, because we need to make that land drop for the turn as badly as possible. And let's go and get down the Swiftfoot Boots. It's going to be 1, 2... Get down the Swiftfoot Boots, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. There we go. We'll see if they want to put a, whenever artifact enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter, so we can get a Arcbound Crusher for 2, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're looking at Grave Titan next turn, that we'll be able to follow it up with Dax Duplicate, and then I think with Dax Duplicate, it does have Haste, yeah. Haste and Dethrone. So we can go Grave Titan and then follow it up with Dax Duplicate to get an additional Grave Titan onto the battlefield and start swinging with some pretty good zombies. So sounds like a really fun time. We'll see our opponent's going to roll out there, though. But yeah, so I cut that, and I had to Beseech the Queen to the deck, so I'm really excited about that. And I was just, man, it's just kind of one of those, like, you have so many commander decks that sometimes it's hard to keep up with the amount of necessary changes to it. And in fact, I'm going to go and plug it now. If you haven't seen it, I do have a Discord for my channel. It's down in the description below. And I have a special chat room called Dynavolt Laboratories. And that is my deck list chat room where I update all my decks. So as soon as Dominarius comes out, I'm going to post the spoiler, and then that way, if you've ever wanted to help me keep my decks updated, I don't know if that's something that's interests you, you can definitely go for that. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link down below. There's not really any rules for the Discord other than just, hey, be a cool person. But I've seen the way a lot of you interact in the comments, and pretty much I wouldn't have to. It's a given at this point now that pretty much all of y'all seem like you're really cool people. So if you want to join the Discord, it's down there. And then Dynavolt Laboratories is where I'm going to be having the chat room of card updates, just because, man, it's just, when I had about like 10 or 20 decks, it was really easy to keep them updated. But now I'm getting in the neighborhood of 50, and, because I have a certain tier of decks that I rotate heavily. I'm really liking our opponent's deck, man. This is really interesting with all these. Is this like Juggernaut Marchesa? I don't know, but it's pretty cool if it is. All right, I'm gonna get that +1 counter on that Arcbound Crusher, and then we'll be able to go for Grave Titan next turn. But yeah, join the Dynavolt Lab. We have some other cool chat rooms in there. We have Enter the Dungeon, which is our Dungeons and Dragons chat room. Eli from the EDH Lounge. We have a music chat, and he posts up some really good some music all the time. A lot of synthwave, synth pop, not synth pop, but yeah, the synthwave style music. He posts up some pretty good stuff in there, and there's a lot of cool people in there. Also, we have a Church of Athreos room, so if you ever wanted to go hang out in the official Church of Athreos back room, there you go. You can have some fun with that. All right, so it's going to get down the extra counter on the extruder. Sack an artifact, put a +1 counter on target creature. Let's go and get that Grave Titan going. I think that sounds pretty good. And that's pretty cool about the Arcbound Crusher, bringing it back with that +1 counter on it. Oh, that's just lovely. All right, Diabolic Revelation. Let's go and go for the... yeah, I like going for Grave Titan on this one. That's going to be... I'd like to start hitting our land drops, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be hitting that. It's going to be 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go and get down the Grave Titan. We're going to get those 2 zombies onto the battlefield, and if we want to, we can go and equip the Swiftfoot Boots onto Grave Titan, especially if we're going to be making a copy of it. Let's go and get Grave Titan down. And at this point right now, we're just going to try and build up a pretty good board state to kind of stop these Juggernauts from swinging across. There we go. All right, it's going to have Hexproof and Haste. Anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Now, at this point right now, they're going to be able to... We need to find some sort of spot removal to take care of Queen Marchesa. The way we kind of need to sequence this one is if we can find a board wipe, what we can do is spot removal on Queen Marchesa and then follow it up with a board wipe. And that way we can get rid of that that clause of whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter and it dies, return to the battlefield at the beginning of your next instep, because I will forgive about it if I don't. So if we can go for spot removal on Queen Marchesa, we can get rid of all these creatures and then follow up with a board wipe. Now we do have Dark Petition in the hand, so what we can do is, it's going to be a little hard for us to get Spell Mastery online. We do have Diabolic Revelation with an open Ancient Tomb, so if we want a Diabolic Revelation for 2, that's something we could definitely do. If we get Spell Mastery, 2 more instant or sorcery cards. So at this point right now, we go for Diabolic Revelation for 2, hopefully 3 if we hit the land drop. That'll kind of get some stuff going. We can even Dead Man's Chest on Queen Marchesa. But actually, now that I think about it, if we put Dead Man's Chest on Queen Marchesa, we might not be able to... Excuse me. We might not be able to get that clause because Queen Marchesa will go back to the command zone. So we'll see exactly how we want to do this one. All right. Pug's going to be tapping out for a few more. But yeah, we'll also have Dax Duplicate coming out too. Ooh, Infect. Whenever it dies, proliferate. Okay. Yeah, we definitely want to go. We'll probably end up going for Diabolic Revelation, at least for 2 next turn, just to get that spot removal going. With an Infect creature on the battlefield, it's not too exciting about this. But this is what makes Commander fun. I love seeing a Queen Marchesa just kind of like a modular deck. That's pretty cool. All right, opponent's going to go for Steady Progress, Proliferate, and draw a card. Yeah, we do need to watch out for Infect, but thankfully with Grave Titan, we've got a pretty good number of blockers out there. I'm going to go for the Proliferate on the Crag and the Marsh, and then the additional counter on Queen Marchesa and the Arcbound Crusher. But we're definitely in a nice little holding pattern right here. Okay, Gilded Lotus. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for... We could go for Gilded Lotus. That's going to be... Yeah, we need to go for... We need to get some good stuff moving. So let's go ahead and go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 off the Ancient Tomb. I'd like to hit a few more, but that's going to be enough. It's exactly what we need. Spot removal and a board wipe. So that's what we're going to search up. We're probably going to go for... let's see. I think our 2-mana removal is... Okay, so let's go ahead and go for the Throat, destroy target non-artifact creature, and then we'll also go ahead and go for Toxic Deluge. Okay, those go into the hand. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we'll be online for that next turn. We definitely have more than enough mana to go for that, and if we want to, we can actually go ahead and swing in. And then we can either maybe swing in and get a few more zombies onto the battlefield. We'll see what our opponent does next turn, but at least we do have the Toxic Deluge and go for the Throat line of play to go for. All right, so they're going to get that Extort trigger off the Extruder, but actually it doesn't have a +1 counter on it. So they can sack another artifact. Yeah, actually they sacked the Arcbound Crusher, like modular 1, but I don't know if that's actually going to come back to the battlefield since it didn't have a +1 counter on it. Viscerous here, okay. Get the scry going. All right, we're going to get the Arcbound Crusher, and they're going to put those put a +1 counter on it, and it's going to gain Indestructible until end of turn. But yeah, as far as my sleep patterns, and yeah, in college I'd always get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to study because I'd always do morning classes, and so I'd just be dead to the world if I tried to do an all-nighter. But one of the hardest times for me was I had like an 8 to 10 o'clock class and then 11 to like 1 o'clock class, and they both had like the way it's sequenced up is we both had like our not midterms, but it was like the first big major test of the year, and they both sequenced them on the exact same day. So I was like, ugh. So I ended up getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to study like 3 hours for each one, and then as I was getting up, I went to bed about like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something like that. Got up at 3, and I was getting up, and my roommate. One of my roommates was he was just leaving the living room and turning the lights off, and he goes, "Oh man," he goes, "Are you getting up right now?" And I'm like, "Yep, I am." He's like, "Well, good luck." And then I just watched him go back and go to bed, and I just remember being like, "Oh, oh, the humanity." Okay, so we got Core Prowler swinging across. Let's go ahead and go for a chump block on this one. Let's go and just throw the zombie over there. But yeah, it was just really hard to get up and study for the next few hours, thinking about my buddy being asleep in his bed. That was a really hard mental thing for me to get past on that one. All right, so our opponent is at 0 cards in the hand, so we're a-okay to go for this Toxic Deluge. We're going to be able to go for a good reset on the board, get that spot removal going. We'll still go ahead and push in with Grave Titan, because you never know what might happen depending on how they want to go for blockers. But actually, now that I think about it, probably don't want to do that, simply because they can have that dethrone ability. Yeah, let's go and get the Urborg down. Let's go and go for the throat on Marchesa. That's going to be 1-2. Take care of Queen Marchesa. Whenever a creature you control the +1 counter dies, yeah, I guess that technically counts for her too, but the main thing is that we need to get rid of her off the battlefield, and we'll be able to go for that Toxic Deluge. That's going to be 1-2-3. That still gives us 3 more mana to go for. We can still go and put Dead Man's Chest on something with some of this extra mana. Let's see what they're going to go for. All right, so they're going to go for, in response to that, they're going to sack it. Proliferate, see what they're going to go for. And they will be able to bring that Core Prowler back. They're going to get the Scry going. But it's going to go for another Viscera Seer, excuse me, going to go for the Arcbound Crusher. Okay, and that will take care of Marchesa, so they're going to be able to bring a few of those creatures back. Let's go and go for that Dead Man's Chest on the Syndicate. Yeah, because that's going to be about the best way to take care of that. That's going to be 1 in a black. Go for Dead Man's Chest. We'll be able to go for that Toxic Deluge, and then yeah, because I guess technically we could swing in to get a little bit of extra damage. Either way, it's not really going to matter. It's 4-6, and then we can go for the Toxic Deluge on the back end. Yeah, let's go and do that, because we're looking at 4. That'll still keep Grave Titan around, too. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go for Toxic Deluge for 4. That's going to be 1-2, because that'll clear the entire board up. They can still pay a few extra. No, we need to go a little bit over the top to kind of take care of that, because they can sacrifice a few of those. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. They have at least 4 artifacts out there with more than enough mana to go for that. So we're going to go ahead and overpay on this one, and just kind of go for a reset. We're going to go for about 8. Pay 8 life on this one. That way, if they want to sack all of their artifacts, they can go for that. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and get those additional counters on there. We'll get that Dead Man's Chest, at least kind of force that sort of issue on that. All right, so we're going to get Dead Man's Chest. It's going to put us down to 12. Let's see what we rip into. And then we'll definitely have Spell Mastery online, so we can go for Dark Petition and then get another board wipe out of the hand. But let's see what we're going to exile off of that. And, okay. See what I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what we hit. Let's go and click that up. No cards, yeah. It's a little bit of a bummer. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to bring a few more creatures back, but I guess that's what we can cast, the Extruder? No, that's exiled or something. We did that Dead Man's Chest, but I'm trying to figure out what we... yeah, I'm not entirely sure where that card is, because we're only seeing the Dax duplicate, so maybe it was just a bunch of lands or something like that. Okay, so it's going to bring back Queen Marchesa. They're going to be able to swing in. That's going to be 5 coming across, 7 coming across. We'll still be able to go for the Dark Petition, because Queen Marchesa does not have a +1 counter on it. Now, with the Core Prowler, it does have Infect, and there's not really going to be a way for them to put any more additional counters on that one. And with Queen Marchesa, yeah, Queen Marchesa is not going to have a +1 counter. With the most, yeah, so they're going to be able to swing in. They're going to be able to hit us this turn, but we're still going to have Dark Petition next turn, and then hopefully we can get down on Omnixilus and kind of start rolling from there. All right, opponent's going to get down the Forge Master, sack 3 artifacts, and then search your library for a artifact, put it on the battlefield. See how they want to do this particular turn, though. Let's go and get Gonti pop back up. There we go. All right, no swinging from our opponent. And then, there we go. Let's get the Dax duplicate over there. That might have been a misclick. Oh, yep, that was a misclick. I was trying to figure out, I was like, man, I don't think they meant to do that. Yeah, uh-oh. They said it's asterisked out, but you can see where our opponent just said that, oops. That was a misclick. Okay, there we go. All right, so they're going to be able to bring a few more creatures back. But what we can do is we can just kind of assume that was going to be, they were going to hit us for about 7 next turn, so we'll just kind of put our life total at about 5 or something like that. That's one of the downsides. Sometimes that happens in Magic Online when you're playing. I've done it plenty of times where you just sit there and you accidentally click on something, and next thing you know, you're just like, ugh, dang it. You just click through your attack step, and it's just not fun. It's always a bummer, a little bit of a bummer on that one. All right, so we're going to get back the Arcbound Crusher. But the main thing is Queen Marchesa does not have a +1 counter on it. All right, finally hit a swamp. Let's go and get the swamp down. I was going to go for that Dark Petition. We do have Go for the Throat and Diabolic Revelation, so we're online for that. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That should put us right into the Damnation range. We can go for that, kind of clean the board up, get rid of some of these creatures, and then I'm not sure. I guess technically it'll still trigger with that Core Prowler out there. Let's go and pop this down. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go and go for that Damnation. Let's go and grab that. Let's go for Damnation. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then tap out for 1. It's going to blow the crew up. It's going to send Queen Marchesa back. Okay, so they're going to get those 2 Queen Marchesa triggers. They're going to die. They're going to get that Proliferate. Really not much for them to take advantage with that Proliferate, but they'll get that going. They'll bring back the Core Prowler and then the Forge Master. So I think it's still going to be a little bit hard for them to get any sort of extra counters on that Forge Master, so we'll need to get something going. But at least, you know, if they spend next turn tapping out for Queen Marchesa, we still have Ob Nixilis to go for, and we can still get down Dax Duplicate, making a copy of it. All right, so we're going to go and get down the Arcbound Crusher. It's going to be a 1/1. Enters the battlefield with that one, and it's just an infect for just 2. So it's a little bit of a clock. You know, we do have the 2 from the Arcbound Crusher swinging across, and then 2 from the infect. They can get in a spot to where they do have Throne of Geth out there, so they can sacrifice an artifact and go for Proliferate off that, but we'll see exactly how they want to play it out this turn. Okay, opponent's going to start swinging him. But yeah, as far as the next turn goes, we do have Gonti out of the command zone. That's going to be 6 mana. We also have Dax Duplicate to kind of go for too, so it's going to swing in for 2. That's going to put us down to 10. That's going to be 2 from the Core Prowler coming across, and they do have 1 card in the hand. But yeah, if they don't go for Queen Marchesa, we're definitely online for Ob Nixilis next turn on that infect creature. If we can take care of that Core Prowler, get rid of that recursion out of the graveyard, we'll definitely be in at least a little bit better spot, and then we'll have Gonti coming down too. All right, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and see what they're going to go for. All right, Queen Marchesa's coming back down. And that's going to leave over 1, 2, 3, 4. So looking about 4 more mana left over from our opponent. Opponent's going to go for Phyrexian Altar. Okay. They'll be able to put a +1 counter on the Arcbound Crusher. Now, one thing that we do have to watch out for is with Throne of Geth, they can sacrifice the Arcbound Crusher, put the counters on the Core Prowler, and then that's going to allow it to kind of keep coming back. But at this point right now, if we can just get some sort of chump blockers down, we'll be in an okay spot. Okay, and let's see what we draw into. They're going to be able to bring back that Arcbound Crusher and still be online for that Core Prowler. Draw into Voyager Staff. Exile target creature. Now we can, with Voyager Staff, it says exile target creature at the beginning of the next instep. So that's something definitely we can use on our opponent. Let's do this. Let's go and go for Ob Nixilis. It's going to be 3 total mana. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to have 9 total mana, so that will be just enough. We'll have 1 mana left over. So yeah, let's go and go for Ob Nixilis. It's going to be 1, 2. Go for Ob Nixilis. We'll be able to get that down. I'm trying to think about how we want to sequence this one in particular, because I definitely want to take care of that Core Prowler. Let's do this. Let's go and get down the Voyager Staff. Actually, let's just go for the -3, destroy target creature. I want to keep Queen Marchesa off the battlefield. It's not going to have that additional +1 counter on it. Yeah, I think I like that. We're going to go for that. Get rid of Queen Marchesa. See if we can't get into spots where we can kind of take care of this Core Prowler and get rid of that recursion. So we're going to go for Ob Nixilis on Queen Marchesa. Okay, they're going to go for the +1 counter on that. The main thing is, if we can get that Voyager Staff down, we can at least exile that infect. Put a +1 counter. There we go. Destroy Queen Marchesa. And let's go and get down the Voyager Staff. There we go. Now that's going to enter the battlefield as a base 2/2 at the beginning of the next instep. So what we can do is basically during our opponent's upkeep, we can go for that Voyager Staff to exile the Core Prowler and then get rid of that infect coming across. and then we'll be able to kind of take care of it from there. It's going to get Dax Duplicate just pop down just a little bit, and let's go and get that Exile Zone. There we go. Always bothers me whenever it's not squared up like that. Okay. If we actually, now that we're in our instep, if we can go for the, yeah, because at the beginning of the next, yeah, we go for the Voyager Staff right now on the Core Prowler, and we'll tap down the black on that one. Exile target creature. Since we are in our instep, it's going to be our opponent's next instep before that gets down, and that's going to put our opponent kind of in a spot to where with the Core Prowler they can sack it with the Phyrexian Altar, but for the main part is we're going to get rid of all those additional counters. All right, Core Prowler's going to hit the Exile Zone. Don't want to die to Infect. That's not going to be something that we really want to get going. All right, so they're going to get the Arcbound Crusher back. It's going to be a little 1/1. We've gotten that commander tax up really high on Queen Marchesa. If they want to swing in with the Arcbound Crusher at Omnixilus, that's okay. We can still at least go for the +1. But hopefully next turn we'll finally be able to get down Gonti and start. Maybe we can find something off the top and then get something good off Dax Duplicate. All right, opponent's going to go for Pilgrim's Eye. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library. And then whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on it. Now, that's the only thing that hit for the turn. They will have one more card in the hand, which is basically just going to be a land drop. So we'll go ahead and cross that off and cross that extruder off too. All right, opponent's going to get down Queen Marchesa. But yeah, we'll probably end up going for Dax Duplicate and Gonti next turn. That's going to be 6, 7. We have up to 9 mana if we want to get adventurous and use the Ancient Tomb. But between Dax Duplicate and that, if we hit the land drop, we'll definitely be online for that. But we can go for... We'll see how we kind of want to sequence it out if we can get down Gilded Lotus and go for something like Dax Duplicate. Let's see if they want to swing in the Arcbound Crusher at Omnixilus or at us. All right, it's a little bit of a rough decision to make on that one, but I'll take that one. At least they're attacking our Omnixilus and not our life total. And we are at 2 Infect, so they're going to get that Core Prowler back, which is going to kind of reset on this one. All right. Drawn to Animate Dead. That's going to be Grave Titan. I think I like that. So Animate Dead on Grave Titan, Dax Duplicate on Grave Titan. That's going to be a lot of blockers. Yeah, that was a nice draw on that one. Let's go and do it. Let's go for Grave Titan. That's going to be 1/2. We're going to get that down. And what's going to happen on this one is we have the Grave Titan. We can put the Swiftfoot Boots on there. Dax Duplicate's going to be coming down, so we can make another copy of Grave Titan. And that's going to give us a really good board state to hopefully kind of push past this Core Prowler out there. All right, there we go. Going to bring back Animate Dead. I was going to go for that Dax Duplicate. Finally, one of my favorite things in Gonti is using the Gonti ability. Can we use the most out of our mana if we go for Gilded Lotus? Yeah, we can. So if we get down Gilded Lotus, that's still going to give us that's going to give us 4 mana for Dax Duplicate. All right, so we're going to get those 2 zombies going. But yeah, one of my favorite, the best Gonti flips you can ever go for is going to be something you steal like on turn 4 and then you use it real late in the game. All right, so we're going to get down the Gilded Lotus. We're going to be out that triple black to our mana pool. If we wanted to, we can use the Ancient Tomb, which now that I think about it, I think we might end up going for that because it's going to allow us to equip the Swiftfoot Boots on the Grave Titan. Really just want to be pretty aggressive on our opponent on this one. That Infect might make a little bit of a difference, but we'll see how we want to sequence this one out. All right, opponent's going to go for the Queen Marchesa, sack that Arcbound Crusher. Whenever it dies, return to the battlefield. Get that +1 counter on Pilgrim's Eye. And they're going to get that Proliferate on us. So at this point right now, it's almost kind of like we're racing that Throne of Geth out there. All right. It's going to make it 5/5. Let's go ahead and go for add 3 black to our mana pool. If we end up going for that, we can go for the Swiftfoot Boots and swing in. That's going to be 5 in the air. It's going to be 2 more zombies. They can sack another artifact. We might be, if we go for the Ancient Tomb, I think either way, if we go for the Ancient Tomb, it's going to put us down to 8. They swing in, get a few more counters on there. They're going to bring the Crusher back, put a +1 counter on it, Proliferate. That's going to be us swinging in for basically 11. I'm not sure if that's going to make that much of a difference. What we can do is if we're worried about losing to Pilgrim's Eye, it's not really going to do much. If we go Dax Duplicate on Pilgrim's Eye, they're just going to be able to swing in for a 4, and it's going to chump block on this one. I guess if we're going to be playing to our outs, which is trying to get as much damage in as quickly as possible, yeah, let's go do that. Let's go and tap the Ancient Tomb now. It's going to put us down to 8. Let's go Dax Duplicate. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, then 1, and then 2. Enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature. We're going to have it enter the battlefield as a copy of Grave Titan. We're going to shift the Swiftfoot Boots over onto Grave Titan and then kind of go from there. Hey, yeah. Let's make a copy of Grave Titan. Get 2 more zombies onto the battlefield. It's going to have haste and dethrone. It's going to use that last colorless mana to put the Swiftfoot Boots onto Grave Titan. Like I said, we might be in a weird holding pattern with this Pilgrim's Eye out there, but at least we're going to be able to swing in with a pretty good, with 11 coming across this turn. All right. And we've got more than enough blockers for those zombies. So let's go and push in. That's going to be double Grave Titans coming across. Get 2 more zombies. We're going to get the dethrone trigger too. This is, I don't know. It's fun playing Commander and getting double Grave Titan going. Something feels really. It's kind of like your what is it? I'm trying to think how to describe it. It's like having you get the 2 Riders of Pain, or like your 2 horses out there just having double Grave Titans going. Okay, all right. So we've got 13. Excuse me. We got 12 coming across with 7 on the Grave Titan, and then 5 coming across. It's going to put them down, but our opponent might have it with the proliferate out there. They're not going to offer up any blocks, at least on this one, but we'll see how we can get out from underneath this one. All right, swinging in, it's going to put them down to 19, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So Arcbound Crusher comes back, enters the battlefield with a +1 counter on it. They can sack it, put it on Pilgrim's Eye with the proliferate. That's going to make it go to 5, put the additional +1 counter on there. It's going to make it go to about 6, and we might be able to kind of hold it about 2. And we've got more than enough to hold on the ground right now with all of our zombies. Then on the back end, if we push in 12, we've got a lot of we've got enough zombies on the ground to hopefully we can kind of push past our opponent. But let's see what they're going to go for. They get down the deals combat damage player, put a +1 counter on it. Yeah, so we're looking at Pilgrim's Eye if they're going to try and go for lethal in the air, which kind of basically hoping that we run into some sort of top deck. We still have at least Gonti to go for next turn. Gonti's going to be 6. So we're a little bit tight on mana, but it's a little bit easier with that Gilded Lotus out there, but we might be able to find some sort of answer for that Pilgrim's Eye next turn. All right. I'm going to put a +1 counter on that Pilgrim's Eye. It's a 7/7. Oh, excuse me. Yep. If we hadn't gone for that Ancient Tomb, I was just looking at the counters, but now I think about it, if they go for that proliferate, or either way with that modular, they're going to be able to get it done. Okay, good game to our opponent. They're going to be able to get it out there. Yeah, that was one of those. I wanted to swing in with 2 Grave Titans, and I was thinking, like, man, with the proliferate, but they did draw into another modular creature, which allows them to get those additional counters on there. We're not going to have enough to get out there, but at least we got double Grave Titan going. Maybe we could have been a little bit aggressive earlier with a little bit more Gonti triggers, or maybe kind of using Dax Duplicate on Marchesa the Black Rose to get those +1 counters going. But fortunately, that happened. It's a good game from our opponent, though. Get to see some pretty cool kind of an artifact build of Queen Marchesa. You normally don't get to see that. And I don't know. It's always fun seeing cool decks like that. All right. Opponent's going to be swinging in for 10. That's definitely going to take care of us. Like I said, even if we hadn't used an Ancient Tomb, that's going to be 10 total power coming across. That's going to get us anyway. All right. Good game to our opponent. Good game. Our opponent stayed awake and stayed on top of it. But you can see how Marchesa get those +1 counters on creatures that keep recurring and stuff like that. It's really hard to get some stuff going. So, all right, opponent's going to be swinging in for 10. That's going to put us down to -2. There we go. And our opponent's going to win the game on this one. Definitely a good game to our opponent. It's always fun to kind of get to see cool decks like this. So, anyway, if you enjoyed Black Friday, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.